Hey everyone, please support what I do to help keep Greyhawk alive by subscribing to the channel. Also, please consider becoming a channel member to get early access to videos, exclusive live chats, quarterly adventure modules, and more. Thanks, and enjoy the show.
So there's an intersection between one of my favorite TV shows, Kolchak the Night Stalker, and Dungeons & Dragons, and I just want to talk about it real quick today on Greyhawk Ragnarok. So I was a big fan of science fiction and horror and fantasy back when I was a kid. All those wonderful, Planet of the Apes movies and Godzilla. We had Chiller Theater on Saturday mornings where I grew up. So I was watching all these things, and I was very lucky to be around and watching Kolchak the Night Stalker, starring Darren McGavin when it was on first run TV, and I was in love with it. It was such a wonderful show. He was such a wonderful actor, and it was such a great character, so well written. There were the two movies, made-for-TV movies, Kolchak the Night Stalker, and then the Night Strangler, I believe was the second one. And then that got turned into a TV series, which was unfortunately fairly short-lived, but it covered a whole bunch of wonderful stuff. And of course, it had that beautiful opening music. So, one of the things though that connects Kolchak the Night Stalker to my favorite hobby, obviously, which is gaming and specifically Dungeons and Dragons, is the monster of the Rakshasa. And the Rakshasa is in the monster manual. It is a demon encased in flesh. That goes around with illusions, and it's a pretty powerful, lawful evil monster. And it specifically says that they were first known in India and have been spreading out since, which is a wonderful little nod to Kolchak the Night Stalker. The episode in question is called Horror in the Heights, and it's one of the best ones of the whole series. It deals with a number of murders in an area of Chicago called the Heights, which is basically a lower class neighborhood, very rough, infested with rats, and it's full of old people who can't afford to move out and don't want to move out, and they're lower income and so forth. It's a big Jewish neighborhood. And there's a number of murders there, and Kolchak, being the reporter, that's what he does. He's a crime reporter, and he goes out there and investigates one of these things. There's a wonderful cameo by Phil Silvers, the great comedian, plays one of the friends of one of the victims. And Kolchak discovers eventually that there's a Rakshasa, spoilers, who is basically able to impersonate somebody that you love to get close enough to you to then crush you and kill you, in like a bear hug. And, cops are dead, and old people are dead, so there's all this stuff going on. And he eventually finds somebody from India who is there in the neighborhood to hunt down and destroy the Rakshasa. But he's old and he's sick, and he gives Kolchak the blessed, the crossbow with the blessed bolts. And that's the only thing that can kill the Rakshasa. And obviously, I won't spoil the ending, but you can guess where it is because that's not the last episode of the series. Uh, and apparently, Gary Gygax was also a huge fan of this. And in one of his Q&As on N-World, he says, "I was a big fan of Kolchak the Night Stalker when it first aired, and sure enough, they had a Rakshasa as a monstrous evil on the show. I liked the idea of the demon being destroyed by a blessed crossbow bolt, that being akin to the stake through a vampire's heart, so I went with that in the monster manual. Nowadays," this was 2005, "I'd be less prone to allowing so easy an answer to the threat of a Rakshasa, although not many adventuring parties are equipped with a crossbow and blessed bolts." And of course, that made it into the monster manual because one of the ways to kill the Rakshasa is with a bolt that has been a bolt from a crossbow that has been blessed by a cleric. So that's the story of the intersection. There's a couple more things, but they're very peripheral and not necessarily tied to the show. They do list Asmodeus as the king of devils, but that doesn't mean anything because he's also called that in a number of the other sources. Little things like that. But the Rakshasa, he came out and said, yes, that was the inspiration for it, because the crossbow bolt thing doesn't appear in Hindu mythology at all. That was just something completely made up for the show, and then it made its way into the game. So anyway, I've always found that really fascinating, and I love the show, so I thought I'd share it with you all. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will talk to you all later.
Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.